He was always traveling. That's just how I grew up knowing him. A suitcase by the door. Phone calls at strange hours, weekends that sometimes vanished without warning. My dad was busy, but I figured that's just what successful people were like. He always said he was in consulting. I never really understood what that meant, but I didn't question it. He provided. He showed up. Birthdays, holidays, school plays. Not always on time, but he came. When he was home, it was like he was trying to squeeze a month of fatherhood into a day. And to be honest, I loved those days. He was fun, smart, and always made me feel special. Looking back, I think I got used to the inconsistencies, to the mystery. I thought every dad was kind of unreachable. I thought it was normal that he didn't have social media, that he'd get weirdly nervous when I took selfies near him or tried to tag him in a post. He said he just valued privacy. I believed him. My mom didn't talk about it much. If she had doubts, she kept them to herself. She worked full-time, raised me mostly on her own, and always defended him when I got curious. "Your dad works hard," she'd say. "He wishes he could be here more." And maybe she believed that. Or maybe she didn't want me to know the truth. The first red flag hit when I was around 16. I was helping clean out the car when I found a second phone in the glove box. Not a smartphone. One of those old flip phones, barely held together with a rubber band. I asked him about it. He chuckled and said it was for emergencies. Something about not wanting to rely on smartphones all the time. It didn't make much sense, but he brushed it off quickly and changed the subject. I wish I'd pushed harder then, but I didn't. Because I loved him. And I didn't want to believe there could be anything shady about the man who tucked me in at night and bought me my first guitar. Fast forward to last summer. I was 19, home from college for a few weeks before starting a summer job. My mom and I were talking over coffee when she mentioned that Dad was in Atlanta for a business trip. Something in me, I don't even know what, lit up with this wild idea. Let's surprise him. It seemed sweet, even fun. We'd drive down, pop into his hotel, maybe take him to dinner. I thought he'd be thrilled. He was always saying how much he missed us when he was away. We never made it to the hotel. On the way, we stopped by a park near the address he had given my mom. She said he liked to walk there to clear his head before meetings. We figured maybe we'd catch him, say hi, and then head to his hotel together. What we saw stopped us cold. There he was, sitting on a bench, laughing, holding hands with a woman who wasn't my mom, and next to them was a little boy, maybe 4 years old. The boy called him Dad. I remember standing there, my feet stuck in place. I felt my heartbeat in my throat, like my body knew before my brain could catch up. That man, my father, looked like he belonged there, not like he was visiting, like he lived there. He was smiling in a way I hadn't seen in years. Carefree, comfortable, not like a man sneaking around, like a man who had nothing to hide, except apparently me. My mom didn't say a word. She just stared. I could feel the air leave her lungs. I don't think she blinked once. We left without him seeing us, drove back in silence. It wasn't until we were nearly home that I whispered, "What was that?" She didn't answer right away. Then finally she said, "I think I've always known." That night, my world split in two. My mom told me the truth, or at least the parts of it she had always suspected. She had met my dad when he was traveling for work. He was charming, intense, and always a little elusive. She didn't realize he had another life until she was already pregnant with me. When she confronted him, he didn't deny it. He told her everything, that he had a wife, a son, a mortgage in another state, but also that he loved her, that he wanted to be there for me, that he would figure it out. But he never did. He stayed in both lives, juggling us like some kind of sick balancing act. And my mom, whether out of love, fear, or just exhaustion, let him. She said she wanted me to have a father, that she didn't want to raise me alone, that she thought maybe one day he'd leave the other family and finally be with us. But the truth? I was never part of his plan. I was a secret, a shadow life, someone to be hidden, not celebrated. The next week, I confronted him. I asked to meet for coffee, just the two of us. When he arrived, he looked nervous. Not surprised, though. I think he knew what was coming. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just asked, calmly, "Do they know about me?" He stared at the table, didn't answer for a long time. Then finally he whispered, "No." That was it. One word. A confirmation that my existence had been erased from half of his life. I asked him why. He said he didn't want to hurt anyone, that it was complicated, that he loved both of his children. I asked him what he told the boy in the park, his other son, when he disappeared for days at a time. He didn't answer. It hit me then. All those weekends he missed, all those holidays he couldn't make, he wasn't busy, he wasn't working, he was playing house somewhere else, living a full life. And I was the ghost he visited when it was convenient. I left that coffee shop and never looked back. My mom finally cut all ties. She said she felt lighter than she had in years. We stopped taking his calls. He tried at first, texting, leaving voicemails, but eventually even that stopped. I think he knew he'd been found out. For weeks, I felt hollow, like everything I'd believed about my childhood had been ripped away. The memories felt poisoned, birthdays, vacations, all replaying in my head with this new, awful filter. He wasn't really mine. Not fully. I looked at old photos and saw the truth written in his eyes, the tension in his smile, the guilt in his posture, and suddenly it all made sense. The absence, the excuses, the strange phone, the reluctance to be photographed. It wasn't privacy, it was protection. He was building walls between his lives so none of them could touch. I thought about reaching out to the other family, telling them. But I didn't. It's not my story to burn, at least not yet. Part of me still wonders if they ever found out. If that little boy will grow up and one day wonder why his dad is always disappearing. If he'll take a DNA test and find me staring back at him from some app, a sibling he never knew he had. And what would I even say? "Hi, I'm the daughter your dad kept hidden your whole life." Sometimes I imagine what my life would have been like if he'd chosen differently. If he had picked us. If he had the courage to live honestly. But mostly, I just focus on healing. I've started therapy. I talk to my mom more than ever. And I've promised myself that I will never, ever let anyone make me feel like a secret again. My dad taught me a lot. Not with his words, but with his choices. He showed me how lies rot everything they touch. How even love can become a weapon when it's used to cover the truth. I wish I didn't have to learn that the hard way, but I'm learning, and I'm still here. And the next chapter of my life, it'll be real, honest, loud, because I'm done being the hidden one.